This is One Sentence News, a daily podcast featuring 3 news stories with a sentence-long summary and 1 sentence of context apiece. I'm Colin Wright. This is a sponsored message. I've been using Anchor as my podcast host for a while now, and it's been a pleasure to use. Anchor offers benefits that most other hosts do not. It's free to use, but it also has a collection of tools that allow you to create a podcast completely within the Anchor website or smartphone app. They distribute your show to Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and all the other distribution channels without any additional effort on your part, and you can make money from your podcast without any minimum audience size. So you can use it as a more traditional podcast host like I do, but it's also got everything you need to start a podcast from scratch. If you're keen to give it a shot, download the free Anchor app or go to anchor.fm to get started. It's Friday, December 2nd, 2022. Let's talk about the news. From Axios, record-breaking early voting in Georgia Senate runoff. The upcoming December 6th runoff for a Georgia Senate seat has broken previous early voting records, with more than 1.1 million early votes tallied as of Thursday evening. This vote is important in that it will determine whether the Democrats have any wiggle room in their Senate majority, though even if the Republican candidate wins, the Dems will still just barely hold that half of Congress. That said, Georgia is a closely watched state because of how politically purple it tends to be, so a victory either way in this runoff election could have cultural implications that go well beyond the practical governance implications. From Bloomberg, Cyber Monday sales on track to break record despite U.S. inflation. Data from Adobe, which keeps track of such things, indicates that this year's Cyber Monday, which is an online-focused shopping holiday that was held last Monday in the United States, outperformed last year's sale in terms of overall spending by about 5.8%. Shoppers across the U.S. spent about $11.3 billion on Monday, which is good news for a lot of retailers, many of which saw mixed results on the previous week's Black Friday, also selling-related holiday, and many of which have been concerned about the drumbeat of recessionary and inflationary variables and how those variables might negatively influence their customers' spending patterns. And from Al Jazeera, first shipment of Russian fertilizer en route to Africa. A shipment of about 20,000 tons of nitrogen, phosphorus, and potassium, fertilizer components produced in Russia, has left the Netherlands and is headed toward Africa, following a significant amount of diplomatic back and forth to ensure it wasn't held back by anti-Russian sanctions. These products and a large number of other Russian exports are essentially blackballed on the international market right now because of Russia's invasion of Ukraine. That said, several African nations are experiencing serious, deadly famines right now, and others are on the brink of the same, so fertilizer is vital to keeping that issue from spreading. And Russia is a key manufacturer of fertilizer. Around 260,000 tons of Russian-produced fertilizer is currently held in European ports and has been cleared for shipment to Africa in the near future to help with this issue. But policymakers are being ultra careful about how they approach this topic, not wanting to imply their support for Ukraine is slipping. If you're finding some value in One Sentence News, consider leaving a quick review wherever you get your podcasts and/or sharing the show with a friend. You can find out more about this show or subscribe to the email version at onesentencenews.com. And you can support this and other related projects, like the Let's Know Things and Brain Lenses podcasts, at understandery.com.